Hey everyone, I'm back for another tutorial, and today we are going to be creating the Spaceman Synth. It's that really deep synth you hear after the drop. But if you're interested, I also have tutorials on how to create the other synths in the song, so I'll probably put an annotation somewhere to them. But before we get on with the tutorial, I'd like to say a few things about my first upcoming refill pack that I'll be releasing when I get 500 likes on my Facebook page. The refill pack will be completely free, so if you want to check that out, the link will be in the description. I also have a new Twitter page, so for those of you on Twitter, you can follow me, and again the link will be in the description. But anyway, let's get on with the tutorial. So first, you're going to need a mixer and combinator, as you're going to do with every single one of my tutorials. But in the combinator, you want to create a 4 and initialize the patch and click show programmer. For the range, you want to change it to 12, and you want to change the keyboard mode to mono retrig. You also want to enable the portamento, but bring it down a bit to about 34. For the first oscillator, you're going to leave it as the analog oscillator, but you're going to bring the octave down to 2, and you're actually going to change it to the square type mode, and you're going to have another analog oscillator and a phase modulation. For the second analog oscillator, you want to bring the octave down to 2 and change it to square mode. For the phase modulation, you want to bring the octave down to 2, but for the type, you want to bring it to the square tooth mode again. It's just like when you have it there, you just want to press the little top one. You also want to do the same for the second. Again, bring it to the square type mode and bring the PM amount to 46. You also want to enable all 3 oscillators going into the low pass ladder filler. For the lower pass ladder filler, you want to bring the frequency all the way up and bring the envelope amount to 94. Bring the resonance up to 24, and you also want to change it to the 18 type mode. You also want to enable the shaper, leave it as soft clip, and bring the drive a tiny bit down to 33. Now for the mixer, for the 1 and 2 balance, you want to bring it up to 98. Leave the 1 and 2 levels where they are, but bring the third level down to minus 7.6 decibels. You're also going to want a formant filler in the filter 2 section, but we are only going to be enabling the phase modulation oscillator going into it, so that means none of these 2 analog oscillators won't be actually affected by the formant filler. So to do that, you just want to tick the 3 here, and for the XY amount, or position even, you want to change it to 2902. Now to actually enable the formant filter, you want to tick this button here, and that sends it to the amp. For the filter envelope, you want to bring the decay, the sustain, and the release all the way up. And for the amp envelope, you want to bring the attack up a tiny bit to 9. Bring the decay a tiny bit down to 2.24 seconds, and bring the sustain up a bit to minus 15.9 decibels. And for the release, you want to bring up a bit as well to about 29.7 milliseconds. Now we're going to have another filter in the filter 3, so you just want to do this and create a state variable. You want to bring the frequency to 12.5 kHz and bring the envelope all the way up, and then that should be it for the state variable itself. Now we're going to have a bit of chorus on the synth, So you just want to tick this button here and bring the delay to 3.8 milliseconds. Bring up the feedback to 48. Bring the rate down to 0.23 and bring the amount to 22, and also bring the dry wet to 12. I think that's it for the actual synth. Nope, sorry. I'm gonna program a bit. So for the, you wanna put the source as oscillator 1. Bring the amount to 33. And put the destination as on the chorus dry wet. That's it for the synth, so let's see how it sounds. It's not quite got its signature sound, so let's get on with the tutorial. So you want to right click on the 4 and create a vocoder. You want to bring it to equalizer mode and bring it down to 4 band and bring the shift all the way up. And then you want to create a scream for distortion. You want to right click on initialize patch. For the damage control, you want to bring it to 72. And for the damage type, you want to bring it to tube. For param 1, you want to bring it to 46, and param 2 to 20. You want to enable a cut and bring it up the low to 24, the mid up to 9, and the high to 24. You also want to enable the body and bring the resonance all the way down. Bring the scale up a bit to 56 and bring the auto to 14, and you want to change the type to C, and you want to leave the master where it is, and then you want to create another screen for distortion and again initialize a patch. Bring the damage control to 28 and the damage type to digital. For parameter 1, bring it to 16 and bring param 2 all the way up. Now we're not going to enable the cut or the body on this synth, but you just want to touch up the master a bit to 99. You want to right click and then create a equalizer. You want to enable the low cut, the low shelf, param 1 and param 2. For the low shelf, bring the frequency up a tiny bit to 162 Hz. Bring the gain to 2.9 decibels and bring the Q up a tiny bit to 0.66. For the frequency on param 1, bring the frequency down to 126.2 Hz. Bring the gain to -8 decibels and bring the Q to 3.3. For param 2, you want to bring the frequency to 1.756 kHz even. Bring the gain to 5.7 decibels and bring the Q to 3.9. And then you want to create a compressor. for the input gain to bring it to 3 decibels. For the threshold, minus 11.1. For the ratio, you want to bring it to up a tiny bit to 33.1. For the attack, 38 milliseconds, and for the release, 257 milliseconds. The output gain, you want to bring it to 2.2 decibels, and you want to create a maximizer. For the maximizer's input gain, bring it to 1.5 decibels. You want to enable the 4 millisecond look ahead, bring the attack to mid, and leave the release to fast. Bring the output gain to 1.9 decibels, and you want to enable a soft clip and then just leave it where it is. So I think this should be it for the synth. Let's see how it sounds. Here's the notes if you want them. There also is a bit of a pitch bend on them as well. Yeah, you can see the pitch bend here. So if this tutorial helps you, please thumbs up the video and subscribe.